Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to the Centurions Review, the punk rock band of war game review institutions. A couple weeks back, I had reviewed Crete from Paratroop, the game. My friend Len liked it, so he let me borrow 3 games that are about the Crete airborne invasion. This is one of them. This is Operation Mercury, the German airborne assault on Crete, 1941. It's from GMT Games. In the spring of 1941, the German blitzkrieg crushed the Balkans, rapidly overrunning Yugoslavia and Greece. The battered remnants of the defeated Allied armies evacuated to the island of Crete and prepared to defend it. Adolf Hitler, faced with the threat of air attacks from the Allied air bases on Crete, and pressed for time, men, and equipment on the eve of Operation Barbarossa invasion of the Soviet Union planned for June, decided to launch a lightning air assault to take Crete. Operation Mercury. It says unit scale is company and battalion, and each turn represents 8 hours, and the map scale is 1 hex is 1.5 clicks. And it's for players 1 to 4. That's interesting. Most war games are for either just 1 player or 2, so it's kind of cool that it can support up to 4. Alright, include some baggie in here. Let's take a look at the map since it's on the top. It's got a lot of charts on it. Let's go over the charts up here. You got an assault combat table, and this tells you what the die roll modifiers are for the attacker and for the defender. And then it's got a bombardment support table, and here's the modifiers. And you keep track of the interdiction level and supply status here. And up here you have a maneuver combat table, so you have several combat results tables. And it's telling you what the column shifts are and the die roll modifiers. And up here it tells you if the port status at Athens, and here's the interdiction level for Heraklion, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And up here you have a Naval Operations Map, so it's a little operational map right up there. And here it's for the port of Alexandria. And let's take a look what's down here. Down here we have a terrain effects chart. Not sure what all this is here. And there's an off-mat combat table, an allied evacuation table. As far as the map itself, there's not that much to it. It's actually even though this is a big piece of paper, the actual map part is pretty small. Alright, we got a German setup card. German air operations display. And it's got a scenario air availability matrix. Here's a convoy arrival table. Oh, it looks like there's another map in here too. Let's see that. So this one's got a lot more on the map. The other one was mostly charts. This one contains your interdiction level for Malerma and Soda, and AA fire table with modifiers. And down here, what do we have? Got a turn record track, interdiction level of Southern Crete, supply status of it, and here's your supply status adjustment table. Alright, that makes sense. I thought the other map was a little bit too small. It's because there's 2 maps. Alright, that makes sense. Here's the counters. As you can see, the game's punched, but let's see what the counters look like. They look alright. Looks like many of them are 2-sided. And let's see what else we have here. Let's go through the rules first. Let's take a look through here. It's explaining about the different units here, and here's the sequence of play. Let's see. You have a strategy segment, which consists of a recovery phase, a supply phase, and an evacuation determination phase. An air segment, where you do your air unit allocations, and a naval segment, where you have a port refit phase, an Allied naval movement phase, first naval combat phase, German naval movement phase, second naval combat phase, amphibious landing phase, and a naval unloading phase. And down here you have the movement and combat segment, which consists of the paratroop drop and movement then bombardment, combat declaration, combat refusal, defender reaction phase, and a combat phase, one combat at a time. Alright. Looks like the guy who owned this before Len highlighted nearly everything in the book. Alright, it's got going over zones of controls and their effects, and parachute landings. And there's special airborne assault combat. Going over air transport, air landing, and pre-combat actions, combat resolution, combat results, fatigue, assault combat, artillery, defensive bombardment, Luftwaffe air power, and special combat units such as armored units, engineers, anti-aircraft units, mortars, and headquarters. And there's some Greek militia units too. Alright, as far as scenarios, the first one is the Sturm Regiment, second one is Redimo Heraclean, and the third one is Malim Suda. So you have 3 scenarios, and it looks like you can play it as a campaign too. Going into the naval aspect of the game here. Quite a bit to this game. Let's see what else we have in here. Allied campaign options, naval attack table, Allied setup card, Allied naval display, and an Allied naval setup card. Looks like he's got some stuff printed out here, various tables and stuff. I won't show those. Those aren't part of the what's included with the game when it's new. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, please click like on it, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel. And as you've probably already heard, I'm selling used war games on my website. I'll put a link in the description. In addition to that, I have a buy list of stuff that I'm buying, so if you'd like to check that out, there'll be a link to that too. Have a good evening.